This is a Groton Board of Education special meeting being held on February 9th, 2026 at 5 o'clock in the central office. In attendance, we have Mitch Shimblock, Jay Whitlaw, Ian Thomas, Bev Washington, and Sean Cochran.
Adrian Johnson.
And Adrian Johnson. Okay, the first order of business is I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Second. Well, Jay has to be doing it.
I move we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the following legal matters. Joe Glenn versus Board of Education, Groton Public Schools, Kevin Harrellau versus Board of Education of the Town of Groton, Kevin Harrellau versus Kendra Nelson et al., Joe Glenn versus Groton Public Schools, which is a Title VI complaint, Joe Glenn versus Superintendent of Schools, Freedom of Information complaint, and Joe Glenn versus Freedom of Information Commission. I also invite we will invite Superintendent Susan Austin and legal counsel Floyd Dugas into executive session.
And we'll be moving to room 5 for executive session. Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Sure. All right, all those in favor?
We discussed the motion.
Oh, go ahead. Discuss the motion.
I just want to say that, that I'm glad we're having this meeting, but I'm a little frustrated under the circumstances by which it's coming to pass. And later this week, I'll be submitting a referral that we craft a policy that these things are a regular feature of our meeting agendas, as far as getting updated on any ongoing lawsuits or any lawsuits that are filed within 30 days of their being filed, which I think the board should be notified. So we'll put a referral out for that and see if we can get some traction.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in executive session at 5:10. Then go down to
Recording stopped.
Thank you, everyone. It is 6:10, and we are out of executive session. And we're back into open session. I think Mike wants to say something.
Oh, just briefly say that the agenda lists a number of dockets, and many, if not all, of those can be found on the web at their respective Connecticut authorities, if people are seeking more information.
Okay. Having said that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay. Mike is second. And it is 6:11, and we now adjourn. Okay. Now I'd like to call to order the Groton Board of Education special meeting being held on February 9th, 2026 at 6 o'clock in the central office. In attendance, we have Adrian Johnson, we have Sean, we have Mike, we have Mitch, we have Ian, and we have Dr. Ackerman, and I don't see Jen. Okay.
She's on vacation.
Excuse me?
I think she's on vacation.
Yeah, but she said she was going to join in. But I don't see. All right, the next order is the budget work session, and we are doing instruction secondary. I have secondary starts on page 5, the lower page sign.
We're actually going to start with Denise, if she's there. And we're going to the last page, which is her special ed tuition.
What page is that, Denise?
This is 122 and 123. It's the last page in the book. It's the only page I didn't get to last week.
So we're on page 122 and 123, function 4121, special ed tuition. Okay, Denise, all yours.
Okay, thank you, Beverly.
You're welcome.
So this is the budget for our students who are placed out of district. We have a variety of out-of-district accounts and placements. The first one you can see on page 122 is for vocational services. And we have put a chart on this page to give you just an indication of the number of students that are served in these accounts. So 561 is our vocational instructional account, and you won't see that budget on page 123 because it's always been coded in the special ed account, which is 1230. So we did touch upon that briefly last week. That account has $443,826 budgeted. It is for 7 students who receive job coaching and group supporting employment in the community. There's also 3 students that are at Ledyard High School's vocational agricultural program. So there's a total of 10 students, but you only see 7 because the 3 students at Ledyard VOAG are counted in the magnet count because that is a choice school. So that's the first budget that we wanted to share with you. The second is account 562, and that is the budget for students that the Board of Ed places out of district, generally because their needs are such that we are not able to program for them in district. They need a more specialized setting. And as of December 1st, there were 17 students that meet that criteria. They all have IEPs. And that budget is projected to be $372,730. It's about a $30,000 increase over last year. Some of the schools that we work with in terms of this account are Waterford Country School, the Bradley School, New London Regional, and we do have students who are at the Ocean Avenue Learning Academy that Learn runs in New London, and we have several students at East Con's Clinical Day Treatment Program in southwestern Connecticut. Sorry, northeastern Connecticut. Then the next account is 563. Those are our students who are placed out of district by a state agency. The state agency is DCF or DDS, the Department of Developmental Services. These placements have significantly reduced over the years, probably before COVID, but very much after COVID. The state agencies are moving towards providing support to students in their home to keep them in the community. So most of their budget goes towards contracting with vendors to come in and provide services in the student's home and work with the family. So as a result, very few students are removed from the home. So we do have 5 students currently that are being serviced under this budget. Some of them are placed in foster homes statewide, and it's just not feasible to transport them back to Groton to their school of origin. So we pay for their special education services in the school where they're attending. That budget, you can see we don't have any funds currently in that budget. That's something that Linda and Susan and I are going to go back and take a look at. Again, it has been a budget line that's been decreasing because of what I just explained. So we will get back to you once we make some revisions to this line account. Last year, we only spent $6,000. So we don't anticipate this to be a large account, but we do need to have funds in there to support the 5 students that are placed by agencies out of district. And then lastly, you see account 568. Those are the magnet schools. That's the parent choice account. So we have our largest number of students there. We have 68 students with IEPs in magnet schools locally, and 37 students with 504 plans. So a total of 105 students. And these are schools such as Jennings School, Nathan Hale, Regional Multicultural Magnet, the Friendship School, Marine Science, and Three Rivers Middle High School College Program, just to name a few. And this account is budgeted at $1.4 million. And it is a slight increase over last year. We're thinking that we're probably going to have to increase that account because you can see our spending this year is about a little over 1.5. These accounts are very difficult to budget because with our sometimes global population, it's hard to predict who's going to move in or out of the district and require a placement in one of these for out-of-district placements and accounts.
Any questions? Are you all set, Denise?
I am, thank you.
Mitch?
Hi Denise. For
Hi, Mitch.
for account 568, are those students sent to the magnet schools by the Board of Education or by the school system, or did they choose to go there?
So they are placed there by their parent. The magnet schools, recruit students from all local communities to participate in their magnet program. And we really don't have many options when it comes to paying the tuition. I think the only option we have is the October 1st child count. So if they move out of Groton before October 1st, we don't have to pay the tuition. but if they're there, from October 1st on, we do. So the tuition has been decreasing because the state has put a limit on the amount that the magnet schools can charge for tuition, but we're responsible to pay for all of the special education and related services that the students with IEPs or 504 require in their plan.
Does this include the base tuition plus the special ed costs, both?
I believe it's just the special ed tuition. So just the special ed cost.
I think it's both.
You think it's both, Rita?
I used to have to look into that because I think it's both when it's special ed.
Well, thank you, Rita. I could definitely roll it up.
Yeah, I'll double check, but I think it's both because of excess cost.
Okay.
Any other questions for Denise on function 4121 and 4122? Mike?
Yeah, just one question it's on 4122, that's the very last page, the tuition for special ed non-public school, 563 special ed tuition state place. You'd said that there's nothing currently budgeted in 563 for special ed public school, but then there is quite a bit budgeted in the non-public school part. I don't know if we could scroll to those maps.
That's the last page, Denise.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Yep, thank you, Mike. So in terms of the non-public schools, you can see the, for 562, that would be board placements.
Yeah.
So you can see that, again, we're budgeting 1.6 million, and that's an increase of about 61,000. And that is for the private schools. And then the state placed, we're budgeting 406,000 to bring the total to 2,039,370. Thank you. This is the non-public, whereas the first page was public.
Thank you. So I'm wondering that 406,000, that's quite a bit of an increase from what was budgeted last year, which was 53,000, and what's estimated this year, which is over that, 72,000. I'm wondering for that rationale.
And the actual for 25 was 338, 437.
I believe this is on our tracker, this line, to relook at it. It's already on our radar,
Okay.
because I think I was going off of, I guess, the FY25 actual, and I didn't believe that all of the encumbrances were in there, Denise. I think we're missing some encumbrances in there as of December, so we are going to relook at it, but I know there's at least a $100,000 kid that's not in there, the FY26
Got it.
projected.
And what's clear is we already know, though, the budget that we have for this year, we're already
Right.
over that. But then you're thinking,
But to your point, we are looking at it to make sure that we didn't have all the encumbrances in there in December, and that we have them now, and to see if we can reduce it.
thank you.
Yeah, there could be some efficiencies that we could find in that account,
Yeah.
because again, it's only 5 students, and I think the cost for most of the students is relatively low, but there are several students in there, a small number, that are in approved private special ed programs, and those are much more costlier, obviously, than public school placements. So we had planned on taking a look at that.
Thank you.
And you can see that tuitions for magnet and public schools, non-public, in the special ed area amount to close to $4 million. So thinking about that Mary Morrison project, if there's a way that we can entice families to stay here in Groton with us from early on, I think that will be a really good thing.
And Rita?
I just want to talk about the first thing she talked about, where there's a 561 is in 1230, and I wanted to get your thoughts on whether or not it should be moved here. I believe it should be in tuition and not in function 1230, because it is tuition, and with the, I could move it to the right place, but I wanted to get everybody's thoughts about that. I think it should be with the other tuition and not
when we
in,
roll out the board's actual budget book,
Right.
we can get that change made so that
If you
it'll be
want.
cleaner when we go to look at it in the future years, you know?
yeah, it's always been in the 1230. I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
but
How does the board feel about moving that 561 into the 4121 function?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Into the, which function it applies to. I have to look at it, in the 1230, which one it goes into, but I believe it'll go into the public schools mostly. So I just wanted to ask about that.
Mike?
And one more question. So I understand now that, by vocational, we're talking, in this case, I guess it'd be Ledyard High School, vocational school. And the magnet, I understand that. What if they go to the Connecticut Technical High School system, like Groton or Norwich Tech? Is that, it seems like, is that off our books somehow?
Yeah, we don't pay for that.
We don't-
It is, yeah, the only in-kind services we have is the buses. We transport
We try-
The bus.
our students.
Yeah.
Yep, but that's, otherwise, all special education services, general ed services are all addressed through the Connecticut Technical High School system. They're actually considered to be their own school district in Connecticut.
Right.
And I understand Ledyard VOAG no longer charges the base tuition, but we do pay for the special ed cost.
Correct.
Adrian, you upset, Mike?
Yes, thank you.
Adrian?
Yeah, I was just wondering, because it seems like there's going to be a couple of changes in here. So in 4121, line item 568, it looks like we're we're budgeting 190,000 less than our actual spend this year. So just because we're going to be voting on this, I think 2 weeks from tonight, when would we expect to get what those proposed changes are going to be?
We're working on that right now, when we're looking at the pluses and the minuses of, the things that we think we can reduce and the things that we think we might be able to add to. So,
Well, you think you can have them not by February the 12th, but by the meeting after February the 12th, which would be the 19th, I think.
Are we meeting on the 16th? Or
I think those are
19th?
holidays.
yeah, they are.
The holidays.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not meeting till the 19th, so yeah.
Okay.
So how, I guess this is just a question of the process. We've got the superintendent's budget here, and then it seems like there's going to be lots of changes. Are they going to be recorded in like one spreadsheet or something
Yes.
like that, and then delineated out so we know exactly what we voted on when we vote for the budget?
We have a tracker going that it'll have the function, the object, it'll have everything, it'll have the original, and then the I just started it, but you will have one sheet that'll show you what the original budget was, what the reduction or addition is.
All right.
That's my plan.
And then we're going to have that for the Wednesday, like 9 days from now, meeting.
It's the Wednesday, right? That's a Wednesday meeting?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Just because it seems like there might be a notable change, and I don't really know if it's going to be up or down yet.
Right.
So just so we have time to think about other things at the same time.
Will that also take into effect? I know that when we met with the elementary schools, they had their requests. Will that factor in as well?
I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure of your process 100%, but those are FTEs that I'd have to add. That's not just a line item change, right? If we were to decide, I think we're costing them out
Yeah,
for you.
Lori's doing that right now.
When do you anticipate that?
Well, we have the secondary to go through tonight.
Okay.
And so, I think that would we put that on the same tracker, or would we do something separate for that?
I think it would have to be separate because it's affecting, the salaries can be on the tracker, but the FTEs are obviously on separate pages, but the dollar figures, yeah, they could be on the tracker.
Mike?
So this is a question for you, Bev. I'm wondering, in the process, is there going to be time for sort of the board to potentially give a consensus target number to try to get at? Like, I'll just throw out a number, 6%, and then have the numbers worked up so that we have like sort of a 6% budget, what it looks like, so that, so that we have this overall, to kind of get some overall guidance and then have the details worked out. Because what I'm concerned is that at this pace, I really like going methodically through the budget, the superintendent's budget. I like that a lot. But I'm hoping there's still time for us to say, okay, well, it came in at 7.79 or 7.5 or something. We want it larger or smaller, and just have have another option besides what we're left at when this tallies. That's my question. Like when
We should ask for that on Thursday of this
Okay.
week, because then next week our only meeting is the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, and then we're supposed to vote on it on the 23rd at that regular board meeting. So we should ask for that this week.
okay. I could ask for one now.
You could ask for it now.
I'm,
We used to do that years
Yeah.
ago. Give us a budget with 3%, give us a budget with 5%, and, give us some scenarios, what it looks like.
yeah, so my suggestion is just me individually, but we could maybe have consensus on this. I'd like to see a 6% budget. My rationale would be, I feel like, with the new contract, we're at least got like 4.5% or so baked in, and then if our best accounting for with the insurance costs, which are a big part of the budget, are up that much, that's going to be more than 4.5% overall. So I'd like to see a 6% target. I'm open to other ones too. I'd just like us to come out maybe tonight with something, another
That's
one.
a good idea.
Any other suggestions along Mike's line? Mitch?
I think 6% is good, but if we could maybe get a 5.5, I think we might have a better sell talking to the town.
Yeah, I'd be good with that too. I know last year I thought for sure we could get down to 5%, and then we got hit with oil costs or things like that. Like, oh,
We still have many things that are underfunded in this
Yeah.
budget, and you can see that when you look at the actuals from '25, what we predicted. So I just would caution that if we're going to add things to it, we have to make sure that the solid budget is solid and that we have accounted for what we expect to be paying. Otherwise, it's going to be for naught. We'll go through the process, but we're going to be struggling all year to make those payments. So just want to caution you with that. And pretty much we don't have a lot, we've tried to make up for in this budget, not in every area though, to get it closer to what it really is. But we still have cases where we're a couple $100,000 off in different areas, so.
And I think by Thursday, the board should have in their mind what you really might want to add to the budget. So when Rita's doing her 6% and 5.5%, they know what the board is thinking about adding to the budget. So we should discuss that on Thursday, and then that will help Rita. Any other suggestions along Mike's line? You done, Mike?
I was just going to add that, if we did say a 5% like alternative, 5.5% alternative, we might find that that's not workable, that we're adding things on, or might find that we could, subtract. But it's a nice thing to have that others, like a straw person option up there.
Adrian?
Yeah, I was just going to go back to the whole tracker thing. Having that tracker is going to be key to having those numbers, because if our budget's going to be above the initial superintendent's budget or below, which again, I'm not really sure, but it seemed like there was a few big changes. Like just that one line item is $190,000 if we were to raise it up to what our actual spend is today. So I think it's not that I want to, to ask for more stuff to get done quickly, but I think that we kind of need to have all of those things figured out before we can start adding and subtracting from that.
Ian?
Yeah. So I share this similar concerns. I think last year we had a tracker, and all the adjustments that were being proposed had a line item where we would hold a vote on the adjustment as a board. And that was what we did in the last week the last 2 weeks of the budget session. We were just moving numbers to try to get to a goal percentage, but it was an actual, like, board vote per adjustment, up here, down there, and trying to get to our target. So, I mean, honestly, I'd like to try to get to that phase as quickly as possible, because we are, to me, I feel like we don't have much time left at all to make changes. So I agree with Mike. I think, having some set scenarios, do like a 5, 6, or a 7% scenario, and then we could use those trackers where you think those adjustments could be made, whether or not they're, and at what cost, right? So, like, here's a 5% scenario. What was adjusted to get there, and like how much is that really going to impact the school district? Have some.
I think the way she's laid it out, you're going to like, because
Okay.
it makes more sense to me, too. And I think as much as we can, we'll try to get it in there. I know that Lori took the wish list and looked at FTEs, and she included some things that the secondary level was looking at, and it was close to $1 million, the additions.
Okay. Yeah, all the same, I just want to get specific, and I want to make sure that it's a board action, that, these changes that we're doing are formalized with a vote, so that they have the weight of the authority of the board behind them. But I just don't, so I'm very curious to see the tracker and get to that phase as soon as possible. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jen White joined the meeting at 6:19, and she has her hand up. Jen?
I think in one of these meetings we asked for a list, and I apologize because I don't know what happened for the first 20 minutes, but we asked for a list that of positions or costs that were added into the superintendent's budget that was previously paid for through grants, so that we were going to be able to see like what costs were added and then what costs were removed, because we as a board were going to determine if some of those grant positions or investments would continue on. So I don't, for Thursday, similar to the list that was being requested, if that could also be integrated or added. And that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jen. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Moving.
Okay, I think we're going to have athletics. Mr. Romano has 3 games going on, and he's down a couple people to help him out. So tell me what page is next. I think Caitlin has it.
68 and 69.
68 and 69.
Well, I'm glad he's here. It's more important for him to be here than with his budget.
Well, it is, but I think that he's shorthanded at the school.
So that's function 1500 on page 68 and 69.
Right.
All right, Mark, you going to speak to your budget?
Sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me, and thank you for allowing me to go early on. Like Susan said, I am short-staffed tonight, and so I appreciate that. So I'm just going to highlight, to begin, some of the functions that have increased, so I can kind of talk you through why in some of those situations. Function 341, athletic officials, we were notified by the state a 3% increase or thereabouts, which showed me the $28.75 increase for that line item.
So, Mark, this is function 1500, and you're talking about athletic officials, which is an object code 341.
Correct. Yep. And again, object code 342, other services athletics, that was increased due to, obviously, those are police costs, event staff costs, those type of things to make sure our climate and facilities are safe during athletic events. So there is an increase in that. Some of the teams that we host, in the larger venues, we having to hire more staff to make sure everyone's safe in the building. Jumping down to 587, travel for athletics. Due to the increased costs in transportation, you can see there a significant increase, 94.35 for travel. And kind of, I know that in the past, our league gives us a number of events. We at that in turn have to go out and pick up other schools to participate against. So, sometimes that requires us to travel throughout the course of the state, and that shows and reflects in that increased number.
Mark, can you jump up to 119?
119.
The trainer?
Yeah, sure.
That's a big increase there, 14,000.
Yeah, that's contractual. I don't know if Rita can speak to that, but I really don't have much in that.
Is this a new trainer?
We might have to see if Lori is on.
Lori,
I
are you
just put
on?
who was in there.
See her?
think
I
saw-
believe that was based on the market value when the contract was signed, looking across at other athletic trainers.
Is this a new trainer, Lori?
It is not. I know we increased her time, so I think from what I recall, the increase represents some increased time from her based on the demands of the schedule.
She does both the middle school and the high school, all of the athletic events. So it's not one school.
Right, and that was part of the increased time that we needed from her, was to cover both middle school and high school.
So last year she didn't cover middle school and high school?
She was limited in how much she could do because of the schedule that she had, so we increased her time so that she could support the middle school fully.
Yeah, question.
Oh, it's just, does that mean, is that an increase at all in the FTE? It seems like there's none, but,
Well, it's a full-time FTE, but I think her hours have increased. It's a full-time position.
Can you find out about that definitely, Lori?
Sure.
Right, thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
so I've actually asked about these on a different night, but since you're here, Mark, for 126 sports stipends, the increase from year to year budget isn't large, but the estimated column is about half of what's asked for. Is that because the sports stipends, a lot of them haven't been encumbered yet because it hasn't been spring season?
Right.
And is that the same question really for 587 travel for athletics? If you look at the white column, it's quite low, like kind of half, but that's because a lot of the travel hasn't happened yet because winter season, the end of that, and spring season.
Yes.
Right, that number probably consists of full fall sports season and roughly half a winter sports season.
Thank you.
Those aren't encumbered normally, so they're just paid out when they're paid out, yeah.
Right, thank you. And then my other one I'm less sure about is the 616 athletic supplies. We have budgeted for this year $60,000. It was a little more than $55,000 the year before. But I'm looking at the actual from 2 years ago, or I guess last year, it's like $37,000. And right now, I mean, we're at $22,000, but there's probably more to still buy. I was wondering if there's any room in that part of the budget. Or do you expect to spend double what you've spent at this point, I guess? That's my question.
Yeah, I think the increased costs of, specifically going into our spring sports season coming up, baseball, softballs, other athletic supplies, and that cost continues to go up on an annual basis. So, in kind of projecting and looking ahead, those are things I would factor into when looking at those numbers. and some of the uniforms go into that number, whereas, teams have been wearing the same uniforms for, more than 4 or 5 years. Sometimes we try to increase that number as well to get those teams uniforms as needed as well. So that's an increase for all those types of things that are going on at this time.
Thanks. And that white column is reflective, like these other things, of a partial year's worth of expenses.
Right, correct.
With the 341 athletic officials, that seems like the estimate is almost to budget. Are we short for what's coming in spring season, or is that just contractual and already we know what it's going to be? I'm worried that we're going to blow that budget this year. It's at $72,000 already, and we have budgeted $77,000. So I'm wondering if we're under budgeting that amount there.
Well, we've already started to request those spring sport officials, so that number reflects some of that already as well. That's why it looks
Larger.
higher than the
Okay, thanks.
Mitch?
Hi. Again, I'm somewhat new to this, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions for clarification. In the program description, it says such programs include sports, clubs, and school publications. And I'd like to know which of these, if you will, are mandatory, which ones are clubs, and which ones are sports where they're competitive and we're in some kind of a league with other schools. Is that possible?
Sorry, what do you specifically,
Well, for,
I don't understand what you're asking. What is mandatory? For the high school and middle school, we encumber over 40 sports that are competitive amongst other schools between the high school and the middle school. And, in regard to intramurals, I believe you asked about, we usually average between 10 and 12 intramurals a year.
And that's at the middle school.
Yep, at the middle school. So between the two, you're looking at, over 50 programs between the two schools.
I guess it's from where I am, it just looks like a lot of money. And I'm wondering, are these all things that we need?
Well, they're not mandatory. They're extracurricular, but the students need them.
I mean, in order to be competitive and, to support our student athletes, yeah, these are things that we do need. Things such as, obviously transportation, officials, those types of things. In order to compete in the classification that we're in amongst the state with some like-sized schools, yeah, these are things that we 100% need.
Okay, thank you.
Have you added any new sports in the last 2 years, Mark?
No, we have not.
I think you tried to do wrestling, and you did it as an intramural, and there was some interest in the intramural, but not in the team. Is that right, Mark? That was the only thing I can recall at Groton Middle School.
Yep, that's correct.
And
I thought you were referring to the team, I'm sorry.
And it's a co-op at the high school, so there is some shared responsibilities. Mark's working on making sure everybody who is in the mix sharing the opportunity is also affording the opportunity. So he's working with the ECC. We had a little problem with that even last year, where we were taking on the responsibility, and yet there were other districts that were with us. So he's trying to kind of make it with the ECC more unilateral, so everybody knows what they need to pay into for the different sports. They cost different amounts, but at least the people who are in the co-op will all help support. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come to fruition before the next budget.
Mark, go ahead, Mitch.
I'm sorry. What's the difference between an intramural and a a sport? I think I know what it is, but I'd like to hear, so,
Can you answer that question, Mark?
Sure. Intramural would be in-house, among students that are, in this case, Groton Middle School. A sport, obviously, is competitive among schools outside of our school, other school districts, towns, so on and so forth.
okay, is there a list here, on, let's say on pages 70, 71 through 73 as to which ones are intramural? I guess that there is. And which ones are sports?
So, pages 70 and 71, those are all sports.
Okay.
And page 72, those are all sports. Page 73, those are all sports as well. Doesn't look like there is a list of the intramurals though that we offer.
Maybe you could get that for us, Mark. Could you get the intramural list?
No problem.
Mark, are you done, Mitch?
I'm done now, thank you.
Mark, on page 70, 71, 72, 73, are all those positions filled?
Yes.
Okay. And football, right? Why do you have NA under boys and girls?
Because it's, girls and boys could potentially play football.
It's the same thing with softball and baseball. It's the same thing with softball.
Yeah, and then you should put boys and girls in that NA, I think. That was confusing to me, NA. On page 72, what does the faculty manager do?
They help with assigning staff members to work events.
Now, I want you to know that these were all based on the GEA contract.
Yeah, this
So
comes
came
right from the
right from the contract. So this isn't something Mark puts together. This is something that we negotiate with the union.
Oh, and they ask for these positions? They say, oh, we need a faculty manager?
Well, yeah, they were saying what the amount is.
Yeah, but I'm
For
just
each of
asking
these
what the position is. I don't care about it. I'm not asking about the amount. I just want to know what does that person do?
Is that at the middle school because, to support the middle school? Or is
No,
it,
that's at the high school.
oh, that's at the high school. Do you know, can you tell us what that position is?
Yeah, no, the assistant, helping head staff to help work athletic events, is what that is.
So 2 positions with that.
Well,
It's one position.
it's one position.
Over and under the 5 years.
So the price
It
would be
depends on who you hire.
Yeah, but
It's only one
you said all
position.
these positions are filled, right?
But
So
the-
there's going to be 2 faculty managers.
But there's only one position. This is from the union contract, so it, depending on who we hire, if they have under 5 years of experience, it's the top line. Over 5 years experience is what they get paid on the bottom line. Does that
So
mean?
we don't have 2 faculty?
No, we only have one.
No.
Oh, well, when I asked him were all these positions filled, he said, yeah. That we
Yeah,
need that one too.
No, you can see, for example, volleyball, head coach, under 5, over 5. So
Yeah, I
it's
saw
one
that.
position, like Rita said, just based on your.
It's just based on years.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Okay. Mitch?
On page 73, you have intramural coach, and you said everything on that page and the others were all sports. So is that a sport or is that a intramurals?
There's intramural stipends for each, we'll call it season, and that's what that position is.
Can you say that again, Mark?
So there's intramural coaches throughout every season, and that's basically what that position is right there, 73.
But you'll get us a list of the different intramurals and how many coaches we will have this year, right?
Correct. Yep, so,
So we'll wait for that.
I don't understand.
So that's the price, this is the price negotiated with the GEA.
Yeah.
When the board sits with the GEA in determining, and I think it only went up 2% this year in the contract. And these are all the possible coaches' pay, depending on how long they've been here and what they're earmarked for. So when you need an intramural coach, you go to the intramural line and you pay these different rates, per, depending on the year. And it's kind of a flat fee for anybody doing intramurals. And then the others are more specific in the sports world, with the sports activity, the position, and then the experience.
All right, Joan, I just want you to know Ian left at 6:50. All right, so this doesn't mean that these positions are all filled. These are just what's in the contract.
Right.
GA contract. Okay. All right. Now I understand. Because
That
he
makes-
said they were all filled. So I thought these were all filled. But these are just what's in the contract.
right, but we do have a person in each one of these positions.
So you have someone for lacrosse, tennis, gymnastics, cheerleading.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
But you don't have multiple. You don't have someone over and under. You have either or.
right,
Right.
correct.
Oh, okay. That explains better.
You think that was good?
Because he wasn't really explaining it. I was like confused. So he has either over or under.
Right.
Okay. I was like, these are a lot of positions. All right. Any other? Adrian.
Yeah, Mark, I know we talked about this last year, and I was hoping we were going to have some discussion before we got to budget, but about the middle school, and I'm just going to speak to the one sport that my kids were in both, Cutler back when we had Cutler, and then GMS, and that's soccer. So I know when we had Cutler, and I'm not going to speak for Westside because I wasn't there, but I know they had soccer teams there as well, but we had two boys soccer teams at Cutler. We had a sixth grade team, and then the regular team, I guess we'd call it, middle school team. And I'm assuming they had something similar at Westside. And when we moved to the middle school, now we have one total team. So where we would have had 3 or 4 teams. Ooh, sorry. Sorry, let me know if you didn't. Did you hear that when I was talking? I wasn't talking into the mic. All right, yeah. So, we'd gone from 3 to 4 middle school, boys or girls teams, down to 1 in the when we consolidated the middle school, and I think the result of that is lots of kids getting cut or not being able to participate in the team sport. I know there's some intramural stuff, but in the teams, does this budget take into account any increases or changes with the middle school schedule to make up for kind of that loss that we had when we went to the single middle school in the district?
Contractually, what we have there, boys and girls soccer programs for the middle school, and like you said before, we do offer intramurals as well, but that's kind of where we're at in regard to those programs. And that's why we tried to bring in regard to intramurals, various different intramurals that, maybe some kids would be more interested in, and we kind of mix it up a little bit and try to provide them different opportunities, primarily for the ones that do not have a feeder program within our community. Try to gauge their interest in other sports as well, but, in regard to soccer specifically, we try to make sure that it's balanced with both boys and girls in regard to enrollment in each program, so to try to give them, as best an opportunity, participate, make the team, whatever you have it, as we can.
So, Mark, I know we probably talked about this, but we have the sports program for soccer for boys, and then we have the sports program for the girls. Do we have the intramural soccer for each boys and girls?
We do not offer intramural soccer because we have seen in the past that it does conflict with some of the youth soccer within the community.
What about for the boys? Do you have boys intramural soccer?
It's the same for both boys and girls.
So are you saying we don't have intramural soccer?
Correct.
I mean, it would be interesting to see if there's an interest. Maybe we can do some kind of an interest for next year, just to see, because that was a problem that we had not enough spaces for all the kids who seem to want to play. And I don't know if it might be worth having an intramural, but I think we should check on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can put together an interest survey to go out to the students to see what other activities or sports they might be interested in for intramurals. Mm-hmm. And, I think we can go from there.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I mean,
I recall that too, Adrian.
Yeah, well, just to kind of finish where I was going, and I just use soccer as an example, and I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of, basketball, parents or students that would have the same thing, where we would have had two teams. When we consolidated the middle school, we didn't take that into account, and if you care about success in the district, you'd say that we made a smaller feeder program by eliminating all of those spots for kids to learn. And in my own opinion, sixth graders shouldn't get cut if they want to come out and be part of a team. I mean, those are the years you're learning. I mean, I can understand it later on in high school, but in middle school, in that we had talked about this before, will help with chronic absenteeism and kids just wanting to be in school and enjoying school. So that's kind of what I have to say. I understand that there's not really any. I guess my understanding is that there's no changes in this budget from what we're doing this year in the middle school. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mark? Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
So now I think we start up at art for 6 through 12, although we do have the military science too. I forgot where that was.
It's like the first one.
The first one.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's on page 5 and 6.
Yeah. Can you go to 5 and 6, Caitlin? Right after the pink. It comes after the pink. Go to 5 and 6. And it should be Military Science 1091. You see where she's at?
Yeah, that's right. No.
It's function
One down.
1091,
The first page after the pink. There you go.
right there.
There you go.
All right.
So,
There's no FTEs on this?
Yeah, right.
do you remember, Rita, where his FTE is?
Lori might remember. It wasn't there last year
Oh, it
either.
wasn't there last year. Hold
So
on.
I didn't put.
I think it was,
I think because it was a sub, and I don't think it's been in their last two budget books.
I believe it's
Science.
in the
Science.
account. Actually, for military science,
I think it's in
it seemed
science.
like the faculty line wasn't in this one, but the after school part of it was
Right.
in the activities, which we just talked about.
yeah.
So
I believe that it was considered a science, military science, and
Right, so,
and the position was a part-time position, so it was like half an FTE.
Can you get us the correct information for this?
Lori, are you on? Do you know?
I know there wasn't an FTE in there last year. There isn't one this year because it was filled by a sub retired teacher.
Yeah.
Lori, you online?
I apologize, I had to step away for a minute. What was the question?
On military science, there's no FTE on that page. Can you tell us why?
It's currently being supported by a science teacher,
But part-time.
part-time.
So is the FTE in there?
It's in the science.
It's in the science.
Oh, it's in the science. But then all of the field trip information and supply information is in the accounts, you see, 588 and the 619.
Mitch?
How many students are enrolled in this?
So there are about 30 now, but we understand after the last report that if we can get 50, and we're working on it with 8th graders coming up, and we can even run a 7th grade portion, that when we get to 50, it becomes the belongings of the United States federal government, and they pay for the whole thing. They pay for the FTEs, they pay for the uniforms, they pay for everything. So our goal is to get it to the 50 number, which we really think we can do, and we can actualize this, and then it won't be a cost to the board. So that's the goal.
So maybe we can sell it to the
Well, they are. We're doing a lot. We're bringing, the JROTC down. They're actually an NNDCC, and they'll become an official JROTC. Should we get that 50 number? But it was really good news this year when they did the evaluation of the Corps, and saying that if you can, move this up, if you can get these kids in, and when you can even start it at the middle school in 8th grade, they can be part of it.
Do we have any idea when we might hit 50? At what rate is it increasing?
Well, we started with 60, that went down to 50, and so I think that, it's just, we've got to build that interest again, so.
So, Mitch, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, okay. So this is the first year that we were informed that we can actually, as Susan was saying, if we can start to get some 8th grade classes, like they can start the program in 8th grade, and if you can do that, that's a whole nother class that we can actually get towards that 50. So right now we're at like 32. But if we can grow the program a little bit more at the high school and get some kids at the 8th grade level that are interested to be part of the program, that's how we think we can get to our 50. And that was exciting news that we got at the last AMI inspection that we had a few weeks ago.
And then also, we're always looking to bring on 8th graders who are coming into 9th. So I think there's a whole campaign of going down there and having the kids talk to them, and also getting the information out to families, because so many of our students who've been in this program have had free NROTC at the college level, and they have gotten into great schools and getting paid for. We have a young lady this year who's a leader in the organization, and she's also in our nursing program. She's going to be a Navy nurse, and her whole college is paid for. So, good for her.
What kind of marketing are you doing to get these students interested?
So we just today and on Friday we had our leaders of the NJROTC program going down to the middle schools to talk to the kids about the program. They're also getting into the, we're working to get them to get to the middle school to actually do some trainings there, just to be kind of present in showing their work and so forth, what they're working on when they're at the middle school, just to kind of show them that. That's really all we've done so far. I think now that we know about the opportunity for 8th grade, we're working towards making it available for potential incoming 8th graders that want to be part of the program. But like I said, that was really, was that 2 or 3 weeks ago that we were first made aware of that opportunity. But the kids have been going down to speak to all the 8th graders as they're signing up for classes right now.
I think they also talked about having them in the afternoons, because they do drone competitions, they do a lot of fun stuff, and to get them really active to see what it is beyond the school day, too, that's very enticing. So I think in both areas they're going to be working on that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions about military science? Sean and then Mike.
2 questions. One, are there any incentives for students to participate, and are students able to, say, participate in ROTC and a sport, or is there limitations time-wise?
They are, they're totally, there's no restrictions to being part of a sport. I don't think Commander Hinkle would deny someone if they wanted to be part of a sport.
Or the band.
Or the band. The incentive-wise, one incentive is we have a global, the personal project, NYP personal project, and the global citizenship. If a student chooses to engage in NJROTC, that takes that requirement away, because this is a pretty big commitment, obviously, to be part of the NJROTC program. So that is one incentive we have. And the other incentive, I mean, just as Susan said about the female leader who's got a great opportunity in naval, scholarship for nursing. Last year we had a major scholarship to one of our NJROTC members, and the year before we did as well. So we have to keep, celebrating that and make sure we market that these kids are creating amazing opportunities for themselves when they graduate from high school. And I think a big part of it is this program.
And even better than that, they're very successful in college.
It sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. You have a couple of questions. It's good to hear that 50 student number, because it's much lower than what I thought it was. I thought in New London's case, maybe in others, it's 10% of the high school students have to be in NJROT.
I think that might be the case in New London. I think they have about 140 kids. They just happen to have that. So that might just be the number of kids that they do have in there.
Oh no, I thought there's a threshold to get that funding. There's a certain percent, but that was a hard, a firm.
Yep.
You give us 50 students, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I know. It's good news.
Secondly, I know that we have a very well qualified, recently retired, currently substitute teacher in this. Are we going to continue? Do we expect to continue that same strategy next year and the years forward, or is there going to be an open search? It's kind of hard to search for half FTE, but search for a science teacher, things like that, or combined with robotics somehow.
We're really looking into that because, I think that there might be a request from the current commanding officer that he is going to retire, so we want to make sure that we replace that position. But it could be something that you connect with another science or, position. And it might even be someone who wants to do part-time. We know of a couple other people. They need to be, it's a level of service that they have had to have in recent years in the Navy. And so, we just have to find that right person. But there are a couple people that I think might be interested that we know about, right?
It has to be
It'd have to be posted.
No, it has
The
to
other,
be.
also, if we start to offer it at the middle school level eventually, then it would be difficult to just have a half-time teacher.
Yeah, we might have to, yeah.
Right. And then do we currently have an unfilled science position or half a science position? Or was that so someone retired last year, we had that FTE line in the science budget. Has that position been filled? Or did we?
No, we ended up losing one position in science.
And I think the other half of Terry's, because he went from being full-time to half-time.
At halftime, but when he became halftime, we didn't replace a halftime teacher, and then he retired. We didn't, so yeah, there was a cut in the science department.
In terms of personnel, but I think maybe not in terms of the budget that we approved.
Yes, you're right.
So
those that are teaching science, Terry used to teach science, he no longer teaches science. Yeah.
So I guess this is looking forward to when we talk about sciences, but we don't have to build back in a position. It's there. It's just that we can lost that in case basically half the effort of. And the other half for military science is filled through him subbing. And thank you for doing that, by the way. And then my other question is, and maybe this speaks to the growth, but we've got 20,000 and 619 for other supplies. Right now, it's only 5,000. I brought this up last year. I think it was a round number put in. I think we could do with less there. I know it's not a big deal, but I think if we did something like, if we're going to do 8th grade, maybe you grow it to like 15,000 would be fine. But I feel like that 20,000 is much larger than needed. I know this isn't a big budget changing number, but we could probably bring that one line with expenses.
I think we need to talk to Terry to see. I don't think, everything hasn't been encumbered, and I think I think working with Rita, I think we're going to get better at that. But I want to talk to Terry to see what else he needs to spend this year. But I believe I definitely think we should look into that number to see if we could get away. I know initially the first year that we had, obviously it was the first year, so you need a lot more expensive, but that line was closer to 50,000. So we reduced it to 20, but I want to see what else he needs to spend.
We reduced it to 20 because that's all Terry asked for last year was 20.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want people to think we cut his budget randomly. He asked, but he said, well, he needed was 20.
Well, he said he could get by with 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's check with him. That'll be good to see if there's anything we can do. If we can reduce it, then we can add it to Rita's list.
Yeah, and I should say that even at that $20,000 number with 30 students, that's not out of line with what you'd spend on, say, a per person on a sports team, depending on it. So it's quite comparable.
Sorry to interrupt, but the other thing to add on that too is we want to continue to grow the program to get it to that 50 mark, and if we can invest now to get it to that 50 mark with getting them what they need, then eventually there'll be no cost on that line item.
That's the goal.
Yeah, but that would be an investment for future years.
Yep.
Sean?
What happens if we get to 50 and then drop back down? And then is that a cost we would incur?
That's a good question. I think if we have that to start the year, that's a question we'd have to ask, and I can put that as my questions to Terry. To do some research on.
Yeah, like what is the timeline if we are at 50 at the start of the year and then October 24th we're at 48?
And when do we have to say we're at 50?
Yeah. What's the determination and kind of the guardrails around that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
People circle around.
So if I understand correctly, under account 619, total military science is really now 8 to 12, and we're going to try to get another 20 students, at least 20 students into the program, and it sounds to me like it's a great program. I see you have $1,000 for field trips, which is not really a lot of money. Does a trip to the sub-base help in any way? Is that possible?
I think they have done that. I think they went to the Nautilus Museum and they got on a real sub just this year.
They've done more than $1,000 worth of field trips, or actually even more. I mean, because it's not all taken from there. But I think they are also doing some fundraising. So they have their own
Booster Club.
Booster account that they can utilize from. And there's a lot of programs out there that I think are, when they sign up or whatnot, they help support them going on field trips. They're going on more than one field trip, that's for sure.
Okay. This would be a win-win for us and the Navy, potentially.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I think they're supporting it this way, and that may be why, Mike, that the number came down, because they really need to do, it's a need, too. And not that all of our kids who do this enlist or join the Navy or even get into an academy, but we do have a few who do.
And it's quite a commitment, too. So, the students that are involved, they're involved and they're committed.
They are. They're leaders. It's a leadership program. for sure.
Okay.
One last question. Have we looked at graduation and attendance rates for these students versus the students who aren't in the program? Because that may be able to have some positive spotlights shown.
That's kind of interesting. If I was a guested woman, I think I know the answer.
Okay, we're on to art.
Yep, art. So we're on page 10 and
Guys,
11.
Remember, we have a slew of things. So if we spend, I'm not saying much here, but if we spend like 20 minutes on a $20,000 item, we're never going to get to this.
I just want to say that art, there's really a 3.6% increase from one year to the other, totally. And it's a 5% mostly in the wages, but benefits have been moved out, as you know. And even if it says 100%, don't get all, concerned about that, because it meant that we budgeted $1,000 this year, but had only budgeted the $500 the year before. So it's not a big amount of money.
So the FTE stayed the same, 6.
Yep.
The salary increase is due to
The negotiations.
negotiations, I take it?
I'm good with all this.
Okay. Any questions on this page?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Moving right along. Computer education.
You might remember this from last year. Where did the FTE go? So we only had this one computer ed teacher, so we moved it to function 1107 so that all of our computer tech teachers were kind of together on one page, so you don't see the salary. The salary is decreased. And actually, this whole thing has been reclassed, right, Rita?
Right.
To 1107.
To 1107.
So it just means that we no longer have to have a function 1103. It got confusing anyway.
And I want to,
Just gloss over this.
I just want to reiterate that in 1107 was the FT last year, but the dollars were in 103. So 1107 is not going up. The FT.
In the FT. So that's
It's a dollar change, okay? I know that
Put
was
the
one of your
dollars
questions.
in the 110.
Correct.
7.
Right.
Got it.
So it looks like an increase, but it might not really be an increase.
Right, because the dollars were here
Yeah,
when we get to 1107.
right.
Is that the next one? No, of course it's not.
Next is LA. On page 14 and 15. I think this is where Mike had a question on 1104.
Yeah, I did. I'd asked it when we were talking about guidance counselors the other meeting, and this is that 104 line guidance that there used to be, looks like basically a position or so in this function. Now there isn't, and I think that actually went to
Counseling.
counseling.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
someone
when we
duly
spoke-
certified.
When we spoke on last week with Denise, it was in the guidance.
And
The
that
other
all
dollars
resolved.
were here last year, but not the FTE.
So
I remember that.
our job is to straighten things out this year.
Yes. So that's why you see the
You're
guidance there.
exactly right on. You got that one. There is an amount of $300,300 under general classroom supplies, 601. And I'm going to let Anne Marie explain this. You know we have initiatives in both ELA, K-8, and math K-8, which is very exciting because we need the reboot in both, and the PD. So this hosts those supplies, ELA 6 through 8, right?
Yes, so what's in here is the ELA 6 through 8, and what we're hoping to do, and I think I spoke to this about, I'm sorry, I had my mic off. I want to back up. This is ELA 6 through 8, and as you probably remember, I spoke to this a couple of weeks ago. Several years, about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the district updated its elementary reading or literacy program. At the time, the literacy program for K-5 was Readers and Writers Workshop, and the State Department of Ed decided that really everyone in the state of Connecticut needed to make sure that there were some updates to align with new research related to literacy. Unfortunately, I guess you'd say, unfortunately, we also had that same literacy program in our middle schools. Now, that makes sense. Of course, you always want to make sure that you align, ideally, K through 8. When we adopted a new literacy program, which is currently Wit and Wisdom in our 5th grade, that research-based program that really emphasizes like the building of core knowledge, we did not adopt a middle school program. So our currently our middle school is still using the Readers and Writers Workshop. And, we need to make sure that our middle school kind of gets on board with using a research-based program that is approved. So you'll see in this line item is kind of a placeholder for the adoption of a new literacy program. What's also been incorporated in here is a quote for a math program, and it's K-8. I'm going to kind of defer to Rita about why that's been here. I think it's just really an error on our part. The quotes were submitted at the same time, and I'm going to own that. My office probably did that by mistake, and we were not clear about it's the math and the literacy together, and so it kind of got lumped in the same budget line. I will make sure that I work with Rita that those things are separated. But if you want the breakdown, I can tell you that right now we're estimating just under $100,000 for the literacy program, and the math program for K-8 would be about $124,000 just for the program. Another just under $60,000 for professional development. And I know that doesn't actually go under here, but just in case you want the breakdown, and also what they call math kits, which would fall under supplies. So right now, this kind of $300,000 umbrella encompasses
All of that.
all of that. Yeah.
And that's not much different than the $300,000 that I know Adrian had asked that question a few years ago. What is this going to cost us? And I kind of threw out $300,000, and it was actually that, that was about the ballpark for that.
Oh, as well, if I'm remembering also, because we went over this a little bit earlier, there's an additional, I believe, an additional $140,000 in here that to kind of bring K-5 up to speed. There's some additional text that I believe and workbooks that the elementary program is requesting to make sure all of the elementary teachers have workbooks for kids as well as readers for the kids in the class.
But that's under elementary.
Oh, that might be under
elementary.
Yeah,
You're right, that's under elementary. Sorry.
Sorry.
Any questions? Mitch?
Just a comment, I'm big on math and language arts, as you know, but when you look at the total supplies, the 2,500% increase is just, I can think I can justify it, but it just doesn't look right.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's where we need a cheat sheet that'll
Yeah.
kind of lay that out.
Well, you can see that it was, actual spending was only $617, in 2025. So we haven't had a big initiative like this. And I think that if you broke it out, elementary versus secondary, but I think the quote came in for the items together.
Yes.
I think that's why it got confusing.
Yes, the quote came in together, and that's why, when I submitted it, it wasn't broken out. So again, I will own that, and I'll make sure that when I'll work with Rita to make sure that's broken out more clearly.
It'll be broken out on the tracker because we'll have to move the math to math, the math piece.
And probably even leveled if it's elementary versus,
Well, the elementary isn't in here. Elementary is separated.
okay, is it?
Yeah, we already did about,
The math is K-8.
oh, the math is
I don't believe
K-8.
that we'll be able to break that.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I thought you meant that's
You all set,
140.
Mitch? Mike?
So when the next version of the budget, this will be broken out, like not just in 612, is that what you're saying, or does it stay here?
It'll be in 612, but it will be in two different functions, right? ELA and math has to be broken out because this is just language arts.
Okay.
So on the tracker, I will have to divide it up.
Okay. And presumably, in past years, we were paying some amount of money for Dreambox, which are no longer continuing. That must have not, well, I guess this is LA, maybe that'd be in math, but I don't even know if that shows up in that that function code.
Yeah,
It seems
so-
like it might have been somewhere else.
What I did with the Dreambox expense is, if you recall, I've spoken a little bit about iReady and how we've used that diagnostic, so I kind of used some of those funds to pay for iReady this year.
So when we get to that function, we'll see
I think so.
some amount of money there. I was just wondering if some of these were, like these softwares were in something else than LA, like district-wide or things like that, but maybe.
Or grants, it could be,
Oh, good point.
especially math, and
Thank you.
You're right, I do believe that those were in like Title I.
I think those are in titles.
Yeah.
Got it.
You like grants, right?
We do like.
Oh, I love them. Just kidding.
Any other questions about language arts? Okay. No? Okay. World languages on page 16 and 17.
No change in the FTE. And the total, increase is 1.8%. So, and that's probably due to having the benefits moved over, right?
Yeah, but the salaries within the contract will,
6%, it's the
Yeah.
salaries.
it's salaries.
There really isn't anything else in there.
No.
I mean, there's minimal $275 increase, but then that's offset by a $300 decrease.
And the pupil test is for the seal of biliteracy.
Okay. Moving on to culinary arts, page 18 and 19.
So I just wanted to point something out really quick before we go on. There is a decrease of 19,353 on benefits that just got moved into a different section. So even though this looks like it's an employee, like we haven't changed any FTEs, so I think that the employee increase is closer to it's over 4%. The cost of staff without changing any FTEs. So I think in a lot of these things, if you go and look at that benefits number and now just assume it's somewhere else, so it makes it seem like the employee increases aren't as much as they really are. I guess that's what I'm trying to point out.
But they are.
And it's like that throughout this whole book because we're changing the way we're doing it. So if people come up and say, well, I calculated all the employees and it only added up to a 2% increase, well, it didn't. It's a lot more. It's just not presented that way.
Good point, Adrian. Good point.
And this new way is better.
But the salary is separated, so the salary is only 3.6% increase. So that's in line with what their contract was for something.
4%.
Yeah,
4%.
yeah.
Okay, anything else on the world language page? Okay. Culinary arts. The FTEs stay the same.
Yep. They do have an uptick on the supplies, but I'm always hearing, and you can see that it was 16.4 that was actually spent in '25, and our budget went up a little bit to 18, and now it's going up a little bit more to 20, but they are always, it's a supply, it's a supply issue. Yeah, that's food.
Yeah.
And we can't get that from Perkins, Grant. We try to get everything else, sinks and other things from Perkins, but, yeah.
Any questions, Mitch?
Is that what's listed on line item 613?
Yes, yes.
So that's food.
Yep, it's for their baking needs and their
I don't care
cooking.
what it's for, I would never have known that if
I know.
it hadn't been mentioned.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, next is Tech Ed, function 1107, page 20 and 21. Looks like they decreased the FTE at the middle school.
So that was for a sub that replaced a teacher who was in the Anchor program, who got 2 years of extreme professional learning as a coach through URI and UConn. And we did get reimbursed for his salary, but we had to put a sub in there. So there was a reimbursement that came back. So it just looks like it's a savings of an FTE, but it was because of the sub who was in that position. Did I say that right, Lori?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, there's a note about it.
Yeah.
Why did the dues go up so much on line 819?
Yeah, that's Project Lead the Way. That used to, I don't know if that was paid for by a grant before, but that's now part of our budget, so that's where that's coming from.
That's the program that we use in the tech ed in both the middle school and the high school. It's quite a remarkable program, too, and our teachers have been trained in it. And we actually have a current robotics at your school, Matt, currently that's, really getting kids ready for that engineering and robotics design. I think VEX Robotics, right?
So what are the dues, Matt, that we pay for Project Lead the Way?
What are they?
Yeah.
That's the cost. That was the cost this year.
For just having Project Lead the Way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
It comes with consult, I think, too. It comes with consult, too, for the teachers?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't. Yeah, I think it used to be on a grant, so that was a new cost to us.
Okay. Mitch?
What is Project Lead the Way?
Good question.
Matt, go ahead, Matt.
It's our engineering program. And we have really 4 classes that we offer at the high school, and then I believe I don't know if they have 3 at the middle school, but they build off each other. They have the curriculum's all through them.
And the training.
It's training and so forth. We have at least at the high school, and I'm really proud of what's being done with that program and the instruction that's going on. We'd still like to build it a little bit, but it does come at this cost.
I see Peter Bass, you're on there, too. Did you want to speak to Project Lead the Way?
Yeah, similar to what Matt said, at the middle school level, we have multiple classes. Each teacher has to be specifically trained by Project Lead the Way. And there is a portion of that amount are dues for the middle school. I think it went up to $975 this year.
What classes do you have at the middle school level?
We have flight and space. We've got green architecture. We've got automation and robotics. We have science and innovation, I think it's called. We have several classes are Project Lead the Way training.
Do you have an ecology, too, or environmental science, either of you?
We have an environmental and green architecture.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's it. Right.
Which incorporates both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the middle school we have environmental. I mean, at the high school we have environmental science as well, but it has nothing to do with the Project Lead the Way.
Okay.
Does that help answer your question, Mitch?
Yeah, actually I found when they went through the classes and the subjects to be very interesting. It just seems as though, from where I sit, they're taking advantage of us to a certain extent with that price increase. But I think
Well, I
it's
think
a
the increase
worthwhile
is coming
program.
because we had it paid for in additional,
Right.
in a different
Yeah,
kind of way. Yeah.
Again, for the middle school, it went up $25 this year. So $915 to $975.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Oh, yeah. So going back to 101 certified teachers, it seems like we're increasing by 1 FTE by just looking at the number increase.
Just wondering that.
But then up top it says we're decreasing in FTE. I'm just wondering how that lines up.
So that was the $1,103 coming over. It should be in the notes, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to, when we were there, I was like,
We
oh,
were
we
there.
can jump to that right now before I forget, so. I
See how
have
the-
about 5 minutes, and I think we took 10 to get there, so,
Yeah.
all right. So
Does it make
that's-
sense now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
from 1103 that
Correct,
we read.
the dollars.
All right.
Yep. I added a note to put in there.
Do we have a note?
I'm going to add another
Okay,
note
add
on this
another
side
note.
because it's in the 1103, but not in 1107.
So see, you all really do help support us before we have to show it to the other people, because we
Mm-hmm.
can make sure all the notes are straight and everything understandable.
Okay, any other questions on 1107? If not, we'll move to math. And I think that's another question that Mike had on the FTEs of math, the 235,000 increase in that certified teacher salary.
So if you look at this year's budget, we are under budget. So it's a 2-year fold as far as we're going to be under budget this year. That increase is from the original, this year's budget to next year's budget. But if you look at our projected is 1.7 million for the math teachers.
But your increase is 235,000.
Right, 'cause it's
So that's
based on
going from the
an under budget
1.6
number.
To the 1.8.
Correct.
So did we miss an FTE in last?
No, I just think it's the market, and I think when we hire new math teachers, they cost more. Yeah.
And also it's a, product of step increases.
And step increases as well, but
Middle double bump step that's really high. So when they get to that point, we do have some teachers about that.
because me and Lori looked at all the math teachers and what level they were at, and I'm comfortable with this number, looking at what we're going to spend this year.
So
It might be helpful in the notes to note that an X number of new staff were hired at a higher rate. Might be helpful.
Yeah. Mike?
yeah, so did we hire new math teachers this year at the high school level?
We must have, yeah.
We did.
I believe so.
More than one?
Matt, you can answer that better.
Yeah, I think I'm losing
Or Lori.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I think I'm losing my mind, but I guess 2 years ago we hired a couple, or 3. Last year we definitely hired one. And right now one of them's being taught by a long-term sub, because we weren't able to hire the second position after reposting a bunch of times.
So explain that again.
So, we had a retired teacher that returned for us
Right.
to teach half-time, and then the other position is a long-term sub to teach the other half-time. That was due to, over the summer, we posted a few times, but we did not land a full-time math teacher. So one of our math teaching positions at the high school is being taught by a long-term sub who is a retired teacher from Fitch High School, from Fitch.
But I think you did get one new position too hired.
We did.
Thank you.
But we will need to hire that other position for next year.
Right, so that's probably part of the cost too, in looking ahead.
Yep.
Lori, did you want to add to that, or that sounds?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, some of these specific questions were on the FAQ from the last meeting, and I did go in and put in all the individual comments for these items. So it is a combination of things in these different line items, so it's hard to, go through it all, in the meeting. But certainly in the FAQ, I've identified where we've had new hires that were increased salary, where we had someone on leave, so I've identified all those in these areas that Mike Whitney had asked us to take a look at on these larger salary increase lines with the teachers. So those are in the FAQ.
I did see the FAQ. You got into so many of the, answers. There are a few that we're still reviewing, but it looks like we're really trying to get ahead of them. So just take a look, board members, so you can see that. And if you need the link, we can send it to you.
Thank you, and I do appreciate that. I do also think it's very important to have it in the meeting space because of the public forum. And so just maybe this is a general question. Does a long-term sub in the estimated, would that appear as a 101 a certified teacher or a 120 substitute teacher? I would think if it's a sub, it'd be in that 120 where I'm not seeing it.
Can you answer that question, Lori?
It would be in the substitute teacher line, but if I recall, Rita, feel free to jump in, but I believe the substitute costs have been centralized in a couple of cost centers. They're not broken out individually by the functions.
Right.
And you do have to get a certified teacher in a position if it's over a certain amount of days. I think it's
Right.
90 days, so you are paying more. You're not paying a substitute rate. You're paying for a certified teacher.
Okay.
So I guess just the more specific question, point one, if there's a long-term sub in a math position at a high school right now, I don't see it in 120 in the white column FY26 estimated.
Because they're all consolidated in one line.
They're not by school.
Yeah,
They're not by a function.
But
Substitutes.
But we've got something there.
I have to look at the 1.7 because I'm not 100% sure. What do you-
The 9,700, there's something there.
That's true.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you.
I have to find out. We got to go on a fiction. Yeah, we'll look for that. Anything else on this?
No, thank
My
you,
guess
by
is
the way.
that substitute cost is not a long-term sub, that 9,000. My guess is it's probably a daily sub that has come in for a math teacher that's out sick, but let me look into it.
All right, next, any other questions on mathematics? All right, moving to function 1109, music. FTEs look the same.
It's a total of 2.9%.
And
Increase.
Increase in equipment, I take it, they need new instruments?
The increase is $2,300. We have these beautiful steel drums that were purchased with magnet funds some years ago, but we need stands that have wheels on them so we can actually use them with some regularity. So that's why there's an increase there.
Thank you, Peter.
Which line was that?
Equipment.
730.
730.
Correct.
Any other questions on music 612?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on, physical education.
Now, remember that phys ed and health education kind of work in tandem. So you have teachers, most of our teachers are dually certified, so they're able to do both.
So that's why there's notes on both that they're split between both. So if you see one increase, it should be decreased in the other area, if that makes sense.
Okay, so the change in FTE will be picked up
In
in,
the
Right, the same thing.
in health.
okay.
I'm going to write that down really quick.
Now, it looks like, though, there's a decrease of $148,000 in the certified teacher, and that must be the change of the,
Says it's minus 1.7.
That's because, yeah, we're
It's the allocation between health and PE. If you look at both functions, the health is 1114, PE is 1110. There's a decrease in the 101 and 1110, and then an increase in the 1114.
So I'll ask the question when I get to 114. The net increase is half a FTE at Fitch. So I'm going to ask why, but I'll ask that the health one.
That's right. If you look at both, yes.
All right. Any questions on this page, on these two pages?
Yeah, the difference is a half, and it's due to the actual I might have to have Lori's input on this. But if you look at the actual versus the budgeted, I think, at Fitch, on the health.
The paper's helpful. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
We'll get
When we get there, when we get there, if you want. Is there any other questions on
I don't remember
the
taking
PE?
field trips in PE when I was a kid. But
Any question? Shouldn't you have a question?
no, just, yeah.
They have to run that mile.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the next one is science, function 1111. What's an apex teacher?
It's now an Edmentum teacher, but it's an online educational program.
You want me to expand on that, or does that make sense to everybody?
It's an online teacher?
Well, it's a teacher.
Yeah, it's a teacher at our school that kids take online courses, so he helps guide them on whatever their course that they're taking. He has a bunch of kids in there that are taking different. A lot of it's oftentimes it's course recovery, so they need to get a credit for a class they missed before. They work at their own pace, but he's there to help them set goals. He's there to help support them if they have questions and so forth. Very, very important position.
That explains why you went to support.
Right.
But what, does APEX stand for anything?
Apex, it should be changed to Edmentum. 2
Just the
years
name
ago,
of the
we used a program called Apex, and now that program is called Edmentum. But it's the same type of program, but it should not say Apex, it should say Edmentum.
How are you spelling that?
EDM.
I'm awful speller.
I think it's MENTUM.
You probably know best.
I know. I know them very well.
They were actually
ENTUM?
Yep. During COVID, they were the choice of the state, and they were actually offering it to us free of charge as well at that time, but no longer.
Okay. Mike?
I'll also point out, credit recovery really helps us with our graduation rates.
That sure does. Especially if we've noticed that if the students have taken the course, they might not have been real successful in it, but oftentimes when I've been involved with kids who are doing this Edmentum, because at pre-test, post-test, they've really learned a lot, and now they apply it, and they tend to be very successful the second time around. So, it's a good thing.
I have a question on 321.
Yeah, I had the same.
I have an answer.
Okay.
So we were looking over this today, and what happened was last year it was budgeted in one department, $60,000, and that's for Project O, and then this year it was added into the 09, which is all schools, so that will be a revision. It will be a reduction of $60,000, and I didn't catch it. It was duplicated. Okay, so we will be reducing that by $60,000.
So we'll be about
It's going to be $61,000.
or not even. It'll be a $2,000 difference.
Yeah, that's what Project O is going to cost us next year.
That's the difference, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So 321 will be reduced by 60,000. Thank you.
We're looking for...
Sorry about that. It just was the way it was budgeted this year, what department versus next year's department.
Is it going to be going up in a different part of the budget?
No, it'll stay in the same function. It stays in the same function. I just have to reduce it because it was in two departments. You don't see the departments here, you see the function.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so you don't see admin, like middle school, high school. It was in two different departments.
We doubled.
Doubled it. All right.
Yeah, I doubled it because one year it was in one department, the next year it was in another department. So I didn't catch it when it all rolled up.
All right.
All right. Any other questions on this function 1111? If not, moving right along to social studies.
Page are we on now?
We're on 30
31.
and 31.
Thank you.
And there is that .1 reclass that goes back to Latin, when the,
Okay.
we had a social studies teacher that taught Latin
I think I'm doing it.
for point one. So we made that right. And
That makes sense.
the total increase for this whole budget is 2.5%, including salaries and wages. But that has to do with the reclass of the
Yeah.
benefits, too.
Any questions on social studies? Okay, moving right along to the middle years program.
Can I ask just a general? I remember you talked about it, but just as a reminder, why did we take the Medicare and Social Security out of each area and put it in one general spot?
Because it's much easier to budget, like having to separate the FICA, the Medicare and Social Security for every single employee and every single function is very tedious. I haven't seen that done. It's probably been done for 30 or 40 years, but it's time to centralize them.
I can
Because it's,
understand that.
yeah, it's just so granular.
Total is pretty easy.
We know what the total is because, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think it
So,
makes
yeah, it looks a
sense
little
going
wonky
forward.
right this year, I get it.
Yeah, makes
It throws the percentages off by function, yeah.
Sometimes people forget when you're talking about salary, there's more than salary. There's benefits, there's Medicare.
There's a lot more than the Medicare and the Social Security. There's retirement, there's all these other things, so to have the Medicare and Social Security in each function doesn't make sense, because there's workers' comp, there's so many other pieces to benefits.
Okay, middle years program.
This is our International Baccalaureate middle years, 6 through 10. And so it goes through middle school all the way to 10th grade, where it culminates in that MYP personal project. So we do have a DODEA grant currently that does take on some of the cost of IB. But did you want to speak to this at all, Peter or Matt?
I would just, we have been lucky with the DODEA grant. It has paid for a lot of the training and so forth. I do, with new teachers coming on, we still need to train a lot of our teachers that are new to our district. It's been a while since we've done like the full MYP training, so we still have to get a lot of our teachers trained in MYP as they get on board. So every few years we have to stay on top of that, I believe.
And I did see a lot of that happening this year with the grant, too, supported by the grant.
Yeah.
At some different, especially the beginning of the year, PD, and I think even through the year, Peter, right? Haven't you seen that per department?
Yes. Yep. But Matt's exactly right. As we bring new people on, they need to be trained. And with retirements and new people coming in, it's natural progression.
And we do that with professional development and disciplines as well, that we have to constantly keep working. The PD is a very important piece to what we do for teaching and learning.
And the dues are for the IB program? Was the dues for the program?
It's specifically for the MYP program, correct? Yeah.
Mitch?
How many students are enrolled in this?
All of
So
them.
this is 6 through 10. So
All
every student that's
Oh.
that part of Groton Public Schools.
Any other questions? Okay, next page.
Health.
Health education. Motion 1114. Mike?
Yep, my only question is I mentioned it before, but so why right now do we have at Fitch High School half an FTE more than was budgeted for the current year? And that's carried through to this year as well, essentially.
I think this is, nothing's changed, at least from I think this is a product of whether our teachers are being classified as a PE teacher or a health teacher would be my guess. I think there should be, if it were to be more accurate for the high school, at least this number should be lower, and then the PE, number of FTE, physical education teachers should be higher. But it still works out the same way. It's still 6 teachers, I believe.
So between health and PE, Peter, how many teachers do you have?
You say 6?
And speaking of the we have 6.
And then how many do you have, Matt?
6.
So there needs to be 12 altogether.
So we,
How's it out here in the notes and changes, but it doesn't reflect correctly?
so in this year's budget, the 25-26 budget, we had a total of 11.5 FTE, so that was under budgeted by a half TE.
I can't speak to last year's.
Well, I mean, so if I total up,
Actual versus, yeah.
yeah, because if I total up 1110 and
Right.
1114, you come up with 11.5.
Oh, from
I don't dispute the people that are actually there. That's 12. That's what we're supporting this year
I've got 8.5 and 3.5 is 12, so same thing.
for this year's, but then last year's,
Oh.
or sorry, for the budget we're considering right now, it's 12.
Correct.
The actual's 12, and then the budget we're currently operating on, that ends in June or
I see
July.
that. It's
That's 11 and a
5 off,
half.
you're right. But we've got it right for the actuals for this year and for what we're proposing for next year. It's
Got
12.
it. And Lori, my apologies if you answered that. I didn't look at the FAQ this week.
Hey, Mike, this area wasn't on there, so I'll add it to the FAQ and I'll research back on the adopted column. I see what you're talking about.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Looks like the total salary change is only $20,000, so it doesn't look like there's a,
Change in FTE.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's an FTE error.
I think it was an error.
I think it was an error.
Double check it.
Mitch?
We're not talking a lot of money here. I just need to know, what kind of field trips do they take for health ed?
So I know they've done, I think it's the Yellow House or I don't have the name right. It's in Stonington. I know they go there. It's like a farm to food. They do something there. They've done in the past. I'm trying to think what other help. I'm not sure of the other field trips off the top of my head. But
Okay.
occasionally there's
Could be middle school.
Sorry, Matt. Occasionally there's a conference that pops up that's reachable for us in southeastern Connecticut that we send some students to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, moving right on. Next is 1117, pages 36 and 37. It's an IB program.
And this is the DP, the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, specifically. And it does say in the notes that students may take IB courses without enrolling in the diploma program. And we have quite a few of those, right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said students can take IB courses without enrolling in the diploma program, and we have quite a few very involved in the IBDP. But then there's, we've lost some since COVID that are, fully engaged in the diploma program itself. But this is to afford all those other hundreds of kids who are taking these courses. I'm sorry, is that right?
Yes.
Mitch?
What's the advantage or disadvantage or difference between the IB courses and the AP courses?
IB is a program, so with it comes a certification and also, college credit, and so AP is course by course, different credits, so they both offer really good college to career opportunities, so, getting into some of the best schools.
Is there redundancy?
I would add we're doing our best, and we over the last few years, we're trying to combine as much as possible, like opportunities. A lot of times IB will be like if you take IB math, it's actually a 2-year curriculum, so you take that 11th and 12th grade. Well, when we find opportunity, like IB physics, the first year of IB physics, they take AP physics, and then IB 12 physics would be of the following year, like a second year after AP physics. So whenever we have the opportunity to combine, we try to always find the opportunity, so if that makes sense.
We also try...
AP Psych and IB Psych. AP Psych is the first year of IB Psych, and then IB Psych 12 or IB Psych 2 is the following year after they've taken AP.
We also try to dual enroll, especially with UConn, so kids can get AP, take the test, get credit, and they can also get credit from UConn. Same thing with IB. So we're trying to combine that as much as possible because it really helps kids, getting ready for college. The experience for both of those helps kids prepare for college. It's pretty rigorous. A lot of reading and writing and analyzing.
Did you get an answer to your question about the redundancy?
Sort of. I think it's the best answer I'm going to get.
Do you have a better answer than... Could you ask that question again, Mitch?
As far as one is a program, and the AP is not a program. It sounds to me like the AP is individualized to specific classes and specific grades. So if you take a math or a physics, okay, in 11th grade, you would take the AP, and then if you took it in 12th grade, you would take the IB. Is there also a 12th grade AP class for physics?
No, there is not. No, and that's just one example. The IB program. A lot of kids that take the IB program. I'd say about half the kids that take the IB program, they may take it as a full diploma program. So they end up with a full IB diploma, meaning they've taken each year they've taken like 6 IB courses, and they've had to test in all those courses. They have to do internal assessment that get project-based, where they, a little bit more different than AP, where you don't do as much of the project-based assessments, where after they do their project and so forth, it gets, the teacher will grade all of them, and then they'll submit the scores, and then IB actually asks for them to randomly ask for the number 3, the number, 5 different of the assessments, and then they calibrate to make sure that the teacher that's teaching the course is effectively assessing them to the IB standards. So it's just a little bit more project-based to the IB classes that they take, and really how the teachers are supported with IB, with the assessments at least.
It was actually created to have kind of a common experience and rigorous curriculum and projects for diplomats that were traveling the world globally, and military, and it really did grow from there. And there's probably 3 other high schools in our state, or 4 other high schools in our state that have the IB diploma, so it's pretty special.
And yeah, Mitch, I think one thing we should do is definitely get you over and talk to our IB coordinator, who does an outstanding job of explaining the program and does it much better justice than what I tried to do.
Yeah, and seeing the kids in the class, too. Both AP and IB. It's pretty impressive. We'd love to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Now that you're retired.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the IB? Okay. Next is 1118 career-related program, function on page 38 and 39.
So this is the International Baccalaureate Career Program, and we've really increased our numbers because we have the nursing program.
Can I just stop for a second? Can you explain the difference between the career program and the regular IB program?
Well, the IB diploma program is basically a high-level program experience for kids, but the career-based one has them choose a career that they really are interested in, like nursing, like the military science, and that they can also get a diploma in, and Project Lead the Way you also have here. So they get a career diploma, career diploma to go along with it. So it is, again, a program, but it focuses on a career, where the IB diploma is more universal, I guess.
And to add on to that, internationally, a lot of school systems really end the high school experience at 10th grade, and then students either choose to go to something like the diploma program if they're planning to further their studies, towards the college level, and then the career program is really, if they choose a specific career at that point, then they might go down that path. And we're building our different pathways through our career program. We have Ed Rising now as, we're hoping to come up with for our culinary, one in that area as well, like a business. We just want to get all of the different, career pathways, and that's through the career program. This is pretty new to us. We really, a couple of years ago, we just had, I think, 2 or 3 kids, and now we've expanded. I'd say we're closer to 15 for next year, and continuing to grow each year.
And I feel like the nursing teacher has worked with UConn to get UConn credit for this as well. So anytime we can do that dual enrollment where we can get them college credit at the same time, we do.
For which class?
For nursing in the IB career pathway program.
How many students did you say you have enrolled in the career-related program?
I would like to check the numbers. I think we're up to 16 this year. And the first year there was only, I believe, 2. And I think, we're getting the numbers to grow right now.
How long have you had this program?
Just a couple years. I mean, I'd say this is the second or third year.
I think.
Okay.
Third year.
Thank you, Matt. Mitch?
So the whole cost of this program is $18,000? Is that what I'm seeing?
That'd probably be correct.
Okay.
They do give us the dues aren't as high as the dues for the diploma program itself and the NYP program, and I think that's because it's our 3rd program. But yeah.
Okay, well, that doesn't seem, in the overall scheme of things, like it's a lot of money.
It doesn't include the FTEs associated with
my next question.
Yeah.
But those teachers, like our nursing teacher, her nursing class could qualify as a career program pathway for the kid, but they would get their pathway through her class that she teaches. Or at Rising, not all the kids are in the career program, but they might be taking the Ed Rising class. So like a career program kid would, they would sit down with their counselor and they determine, or the career program coordinator, they would determine what classes they need in order to get this certificate or this career program diploma. But all the courses that are being taught in this are offered through our general classes anyways.
Okay, thank you.
And then they have to take a professional and personal skills class, would be one of the only extra classes they have to take.
So Matt,
And they have to take, I think it's 4 additional IB diploma program classes. So they may take IB math, even if they are a business, they're going for the business pathway, but they may take the IB math class as one of their their 4 IB classes.
Is that what you're going to say?
So Matt, even though there's no FTEs here, the teachers that teach in this program are teaching something else at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, a lot of the classes that they're teaching, they're really not just teaching career program kids. They're teaching Ed Rising. Like, I'll give Ed Rising for example. They may be teaching Ed Rising, which is a UConn Ed Rising class where they're teaching future teachers, but maybe 10% of those kids are actually going to their career program as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to 1119.
This is our substitute teachers, building substitute teachers.
I have a quick question on that. If our estimated is 527,000, do we really think that the 218,000 is enough budgeted?
So Lori gave me an answer because I asked that same question to Lori. So I'm today.
I know
And
we
she
had an
said we have
I know we
another-
had an unfortunate year in situations here.
I know, we've
But-
had some underfunding too. So Lori, well, the answer was that we have another section for this as well? For
Well,
building subs?
I can answer
Oh, you
that.
can answer that, okay.
It's function 1101 has substitute line, and that's what we went over with elementary. That's the elementary. And I split it up, so we really are budgeting over $1 million, but I do see your concern because substitutes have been coming in at higher than budget. I budgeted all the building subs. That's what I did.
That we currently have.
That we currently have, correct.
And this is the amount that we would need, the 218,780 for both the middle school and the high school?
I would have to double check, that's the amount that was going into the 1119.
Okay.
Yeah, but the rest of the budget is in the 1101, which is page 8, of 962,000. So I am budgeting over what we budgeted last year. We only budgeted 900,000 last year. I'm budgeting over $1 million, but we are over budget this year, and we were over budget last year in the subs. So it is very hard to budget because it's not only building subs, but it's subs that we pay for when
Daily
teachers are daily subs, correct?
So, quick question. So, we're looking at line 120, right, and 1101.
Correct.
So, our estimated is $1 million and $1,053,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have an estimated 500,027 additional, correct?
Correct.
So we're looking at 1.5 right now, and we're budgeting about $1 million. Is there an?
I budgeted by an FTE. I budgeted by building subs. I'm not sure how much they or we could throw in for the daily subs. I mean, that's a number that we would have to come up with together because I don't have a person to tie it to, if that makes sense. I tied my numbers to people
I'm just
and
going
FTEs.
like
Where would the other
50%
daily
more.
subs be? Where
They go to they go to 120, but I don't have physical, FTEs to budget.
I know it's tough to predict.
Well, that's something we can all take.
We can all we can all take a closer look and decide,
Yeah, it shouldn't
how
be
much do we add?
You should
Yeah,
get in.
we'll look
Okay.
together.
This was my first stab at it, I guess.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I remember this last year because I think we talked a lot about the subline, and I still don't understand why we're putting it all in elementary and not splitting it, like that 900,000. Why is it going into elementary?
I don't know why it went in there.
Now, when it gets reported to the state, when you talk about expenditure per student and category and stuff, does that line make it seem like we're spending more on elementary than we actually are?
It
on
could.
That line. So that, I think, is something important to resolve for that specific reason. But just because, like in our district, if you go into Ed site, you can see how much we're spending on student in each individual school. And having this line item like this, and I think we had talked about this last year, but I know you weren't here, but having this line item like this artificially lowers the number in the middle school and high school and artificially raises it in the elementary school, rather than having it broke out K to 5 and 6 to 12, like, you know.
What I would prefer is it have a district line, I don't really like unclassified, but typically with benefits, you have a district-wide line, and then you allocate on the EFS by either enrollment or by salaries. Like with benefits, I allocate by salaries. So I'm not 100% sure if they all got coded to elementary last year. I'd have to double check because I did the EFS, even though they weren't, that wasn't numbers that I knew good, because it was last year. But I would think that this 1119 function is unclassified and it's allocated by enrollment. So if there's 800 kids or 900 kids at the high school, it would be allocated accordingly. If there's more kids at the high school versus the elementary.
Well, I just know that towards the end of it, and we were talking about the substitute line, and it seems like an easy one to cut, but you have to cut it based on, that number is just going to be based on historical averages, and maybe you hope to see the trend get a little better where you don't need as many subs, but we really just need to look at how many we're using this year and how many we used last year and kind of project off of that. But yeah, I mean, so there are building subs in the elementary schools, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when we see that line item, I'm going back to page 8 here, line item 120 showing, 962,000, that's building subs and daily subs. But then when we get to 120 in page 41, it's just buildings.
No, I don't think I think it's all building subs. I didn't build daily, and we need to talk about how much to build in for daily.
For elementary,
I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure, and possibly, it looks like the elementaries is too high for their building subs, right? So either way.
I'm pretty sure last year we talked about this, and that's because I believe that number included daily subs. But, yeah, one way or the other, I guess we don't need the answer tonight, but we just need to.
Yeah, I think we just have to relook at it.
I can look at what number.
Get it into the K-5 versus 6 through 12.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Actually, when I think about it, this was a big topic 2 years ago, too. So,
I remember
so
you said,
it would be great to
we
have
need more money in that area.
projection on the
Yeah.
subs. All right, thank you.
Yeah, so I'd be supportive of at least just half and half as it is now. And my other question is, so these are, we talk about building subs and then you talk about daily subs. Would daily subs show up somewhere else right now in this budget book? Like for the budget we're considering right now? Like, is it somewhere else?
In the estimate.
In not the estimate, just
in
in
the
our
budget?
blue
No.
column, like our FY27.
No, subs should be in the subs.
So
So I have to look at both numbers and.
So it's 2 pots, right? And then we're good there. Okay.
The daily
thank
subs
you.
are something that you can't anticipate, correct? The other subs that you can't.
The building subs, we know.
Building subs, yeah, okay, that's what I mean. The
Those are
building subs,
full-time, like 1.0.
Yeah, there's just some, that almost.
It's the daily subs that
And they
it's hard to,
take over for when,
they do sometimes take over, right?
maternity leave, or, or if you've got someone going in for a surgery. So they're the subs that are part of our school community. They know the community. They're really ready.
They're part of the
Take over
school,
classroom,
yeah.
yeah. And so that really works on our behalf for those kind of things. And then we try to fill it in when we need to from the daily sub, should they take on those responsibilities.
Yeah, the
So we
daily sub would be
backfill.
like when Mitch realizes that he's bored at home from retirement.
Yeah.
Teaching an engineering class.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Wouldn't that
But
be
for
a great
free,
thing?
so he could stay on the board of ed.
I have to think about that.
Now, Vito, do the elementary subs get paid more or less than the high school subs or the middle school?
No.
High? They all get paid?
No, I think they're all the same.
Have one line item.
Well, that's why I would prefer it be all in the 1119, even though I don't like unclassified. It's just an odd,
Line and for
that way I can allocate it across the board. Because trying to track it in payroll is difficult, like, because they move around or they, I mean, I can do it K to 8 and and, 6 to 10 or whatever, or 6 to 12. But let me look at them. I have to look at the actual people.
Okay.
We'll put it in the FAQs once we figure it out.
So maybe this is probably a lack of understanding on my part, but for, say, line item 601 and 612, what are the supplies that we need for these subs?
So last year, that 601 was for the bid list. It was for district-wide. So,
And paper.
and
Paper.
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 Yeah, it's a combination of some of the
Yeah,
schools,
it's
correct?
unclassified, so it's
Right.
kind of a lot of different things.
It's a lot of different supplies. It's not for the subs.
There was an intern that we had,
That's the
and now we don't have the intern. It's like.
It's not, yeah, it doesn't have to do with the subs.
List.
And I do want to point out that the state unemployment, it's not supposed to be taxed, but should be moved to the district-wide because it is a benefit. I missed that. So I have to move that 75,000 to district-wide.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next one is business education. Page 42, 43. So the FTEs are the same. And this is one that Mike had a question on too. I'm pretty sure if you heard him. Yeah. The increase is too large for no FTE change.
Or could be.
It looks like we're under budgeted in FY '26 because projected is 161,000 and we only have budgeted 153. So that's why there's a larger increase.
Actually spent 179,679.
Yeah, the year before.
Before, so
So-
172,500 is coming in much closer.
It's based on who's in there. It's based on the staff that are in there at the time, right now.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Moving on to health occupation. Page 44.
This is that excellent nursing program that keeps doubling in numbers. Aren't the kids just so interested in this? And I think you even said that she might be able to do 2 different cohorts next year. Matt, is that right? Or no?
That might be, maybe, I think that'd be challenging too.
Yeah.
With being able to get, do their field work and so forth as well.
But is very sought after course. At one point, we had 2 nurses, and we filled up
Yeah.
both programs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how we'd have to handle it if we got to that number. I think we're at the point now, and we'll see if this year we are, where it's going to get even more competitive, where we're actually going to have to really decide who is able to be part of this program, because we'll have too many kids that want to be part of it.
Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest either in this year's budget coming up or next year's consider adding a position, because I think this is very, very successful career pathway that, I mean, we call it nursing, but it's health occupations and a lot of EMTs
yep.
get certified. So these are people that can walk out of high school with not just a job, but a career.
And a certification.
Yeah, certification too.
Did we just not pay for a second FTE, or was that funded by a different source in the past?
No, I think we had the 2 FTEs, and it was a very popular program, and then a teacher retired, and we kept the 1 position, and our numbers kind of were, we lost some students that way.
Okay.
So it's kind of being built back up,
Okay.
I would say.
Makes sense.
All right.
So we're going to move on from all of the Denise work to now to high school completion, which is 60 and 61.
Function 1310.
1310 and 1320 are both grant funded. The grant goes to the town to offset costs for the taxpayer. But I think these are the costs to have high school completion, which is our kids who might be 17, 18 years old, could even be, older, but they want to get a Fitch diploma. So it's really important to them, and we have quite a few kids each year who do it this way. Right, Matt? I'm just wondering about the total of the high school completion, because
Yeah, we have to fix it.
that has to be fixed. It's really more like $80,000 or $81,260.
If you look at this year's estimated, 81,000, I do have to increase the FY27 budget because, like Susan said, this is a grant that we apply for that goes to the town as revenue, so it should match the grant. So I think I fixed this year's budget, this current year, but when I was building the FY27 budget, I didn't realize that the numbers should have been matching to the grant.
And
That makes sense.
Just asked for a revenue sheet, so I want to get that to the board too. We've worked on that.
Mhm.
So you know all the revenue sources that come to the town that support education, but don't come to us directly.
So this doesn't cost us anything.
Well, it doesn't cost the town. It costs us. I mean, it doesn't, it's an offset, so it goes towards that, whatever we end up budget under, $100 million. But between the $25 million from the ECS and all of the other things that come through, including the Nurse for Sacred Heart, it goes directly to the town to kind of pay for this budget, so that when you look at the chart, even though it looks like a very large number, it is, but just a portion of it, like it's usually about 2/3, are direct expense for the taxpayer, where the other is covered by all these offsets of revenue. If that
But
makes
this
sense.
page and the next page are mandated, so we have to have the budget.
I
Yeah.
was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, I didn't catch that when I did this budget, but that's going to increase to the 81,000.
When it's paid for by the state, we're still paying that bill too.
Okay. And then the adult ed, again, that's a $207,000, but that goes to New London.
New London.
And the whole town, you get this beautiful catalog that you can go and take enrichment courses, you can take EL courses, you can get your GED. So it really services our whole adult population in Groton. And for the EL and the GED, it's no cost to our, taxpayers or our, our community. And they can take so much more when you look at, it's kind of interesting, all the things you can take over there in New London, so. But that's what we pay to New London. And then there's a grant that comes in to the town for that, too.
Do we still have classes at Fitch? We
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one before, that's
the one before.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I get the catalog mail every 6 months.
Have you ever looked through it?
Oh, yeah, the stuff I want to take.
I know, now you can. And it's a grant, so go for it. Sometimes there's supply costs, I've noticed, sometimes they'll charge you. Okay, so are we on, did we do 62 and 63?
Caitlin has to catch up.
Caitlin, 62 and 63, did we go there? That was the one I just talked about?
Yeah.
Adult ed?
We're on summer school, high school.
And now we're going on to 64 and 65.
Yeah, good.
And Matt and Peter, I think both of you have taken advantage of that. We've gotten a lot of our 8th graders, at least a dozen. Peter, you might want to talk about how you talk to the kids and the parents about, if they fail a core class, we're expecting them to take this summer class. And it's not only Edmentum, but it also is certified teachers teaching. I know last year when I walked through, I was super impressed because in mathematics for pre-calc or calc AB, we had a dual class, so kids were getting enrichment so they can take calc BC. I was super impressed that we had kids really wanting to do that summer course so they'd be ready.
And we had a good group who they would either have to double up in the year, or we had one of our teachers teaching our geometry curriculum over the summer, and did a nice job of blending with the the Adventum, but also with her own teaching. Like, they had to do a lot of the Adventum work at home, and then when they were there, they're getting real teacher instruction, and they were able to get that geometry done, so that then they could just take the pre-calc during the school year, and be on pace to either take the AP Calc or the IB math for their junior year without having to double up in math. Otherwise, they'd have to double up in math, and it would restrict other classes that they could take.
So it's also an enriching kind of thing, but it's also a credit recovery. So, Peter, did you want to talk about your 8th graders and what you have really cultivated there about expectations?
Yeah, I mean, so you really encapsulated it, but you're exactly right. If a student fails a core class for the year, the parents and the students know once we get, actually, probably we get to April, we start sending out that message. Look, if you have a failing grade, if you're in the D range, let's get with it, because if you don't pass, you're going to be going to summer school.
And we
that
know
helps a lot.
We know that 9th grade is a pivotal year. If they don't pass 9th grade, they're less likely to even graduate. So you got to go back to middle school and set those expectations. And we did get about a dozen kids there last year, which was good. And I think, Matt, you all do a fine job too, getting kids in over the summer. We usually have a very good turnout, and they get that credit. So, thank you.
We provide transportation for those kids?
So summer school doesn't have FTEs because they're paid hourly during the summer. So if there's no FTE.
Okay. So where's their salary?
The salary's in the summer school, right, in the summer school, that's what's projected. But they're hourly during the summer, like it's not a full-time position, that's why.
Per their contract.
Is it in their contract?
How much they get per hour, yes.
In the summertime is different than in the regular.
Correct, it's different. Correct.
Thank you, Rita.
Yep.
Any questions on the summer school, high school, and middle school?
Middle school is more of kind of tutorial plus some enrichment, right? A combination. It's very steamy.
Correct. We try to give it a camp-like feel. We prioritize those students. They may have been struggling in 6th or 7th grade during the school year. But yeah, we try to make it extra fun, even more fun than the usual school day.
But there's a lot of reading, writing, math, and science.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else? That's all I have for tonight.
Oh, we can't be at the end, are we?
I think we are.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, really not, because I asked to put on the agenda review of the stuff from the other 2 nights, but it's not on the agenda, so we can't talk about it.
Is it on the FAQ, though? I thought we went and looked at the FAQ and put some of those things there from the other night. I had Erica go through
I believe so.
Meeting, and I know Jay did a little bit of that, too, for us.
I had Jay's thing.
And,
well, I'll put it on for the next meeting.
Okay.
Adrian?
Yeah, I just had a request, just because we went through the middle school and high school today, and kind of what we talked about, where the FTEs aren't really in where all those individual subjects are. And it's really a request for the classes and class sizes for middle school and high school. I think we've had them last year and the year before, but I don't think we have them for the or for the elementaries this year, but I don't think we've seen them for the middle and high school.
Anything else? Are you ready, Beverly? No, I'm not. I think we should, not next week, next next week, I think we should have one more meeting, and we should add a meeting on February 18th, so we can have a meeting on the 18th and the 19th, because we have to vote on the budget on the 23rd. So it only leaves us this week, February the 12th, next week, February 18th and 19th, and then hopefully that will wrap it up. Unless you guys are going to have to come on Saturday. No, I'm just joking.
Just for clarification, since we need to have the budget done by Saturday, right, the 28th, which I think means Friday in the world of working people. So we could, I'm not saying that I want to do this, but we can push the vote out, correct?
Yeah, we
to a
can have
special meeting on like the Tuesday.
But I
don't know.
she's got to put this all together.
No, I know, but it seemed like last year, or 2 years ago, it was a Thursday, and there was really just a couple of days. But now we've got a little bit of cushion in there. Not that we should plan on using that now. I'm just saying that.
So which day were you saying? Because I don't know why my...
February 18th. You have off the 16th and the 17th. We have nothing on the 18th, and then we have a budget workshop on the 19th. So I'm proposing to have a meeting on the 18th. So whatever we're talking about on the 19th, push it up on the 18th, and then...
I thought...
I have a COW in my schedule for the 18th.
Yeah, but we could... That's a COW.
Yeah, I was saying make it a budget.
Okay, let me be clear. I'm saying cancel the CLW and have a budget meeting instead.
All right. So we still have to come.
We'll come. What are you saying?
Oh, I just wasn't sure where we left, say, coming up with an alternative 5.5% budget. Is that something we need board consensus for to look at?
Most board members said yes.
Yes. And would that be on the 18th or 19th? I mean,
I want to clarify what we need, what you guys want on Thursday, too, because I know we're talking about the tracker. You want to see the tracker, so what do I need to...
Thursday. I didn't answer.
Oh, okay. It's not this Thursday.
Yeah, I
All
asked
right. I was just confused.
Yeah, not this.
It's confusing.
I was thinking of the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like I have 2 days?
No.
Work miracles.
I just want to clarify what you guys need.
I want to see, and other board members, I want to see too. We used to do this.
Yeah.
We used to ask
No,
the
it's
superintendent,
common.
show us, or the business manager, or the finance director, show us a budget that would look like, what would we lose if the budget was 3%? What would it look like if it was 4, 5? Mike wants to go with 5.5. Well, Mitch said 5.5.
Mike said 6.
I like the 5.5.
We can go with a 5.5.
And then I think we do a 6 or a 6.5.
Nah, let's do it at 5.5.
Well, I don't know if we can get there.
Well, does the board, that's not to me, so, does the board want to see 6.5?
I think we can actually do a running list and say, here's what 6.5 looks like, but here's what 5.5 looks like. Because it's going to get
And what day is that?
harder and harder.
What day are we talking next Thursday?
Tomorrow morning.
No.
I told you I was getting a couch for my office.
18th. Then we'll have
The 18th?
time to work on it on the 19th.
Okay.
And that the 18th.
Are you available on the 18th?
That's Wednesday.
Yeah, February the 18th is the day after the 2 holidays.
I don't even get those holidays. I forgot they even existed, to be honest.
She works all week.
Are you available?
That's why I thought we were meeting Monday or Tuesday. I forgot about them. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so can everybody make it on the 18th? Are you available on the 18th?
I guess my only concern with the 18th is that we have to have the packet by Friday, so
The 20th?
before the meeting, which is not the 18th, it's the Friday before if everybody's off. Yeah, so that's why when I get in a time crunch is because the packet always has to be before.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we give you a deadline on
Friday.
Monday.
But that's not my deadline.
Yeah, it's Friday. Your deadline's Friday afternoon. Really Friday morning.
Friday morning, because it has to get delivered.
Peter, why don't you get it to us on the 18th, but we'll have a study hour from 6 to 6:30.
Because, I mean, when we're getting into crunch time, sometimes it's not going to be the Friday before. I'm just clarifying because yeah.
We can't meet President's Day?
But we can provide it President's Day or
Kids and
electronically.
Yeah.
Oh,
I might even be moving on those 2 days.
I do want to mention the 18th is at least 2 different religious holidays. I just point that out.
It is, it's Ash Wednesday.
I think it's Ramadan. It's for Ramadan too.
I don't know, that's my only suggestion, that we have it that you have it when we come to the meeting.
I mean, is it okay that I have it when you come, that we give it to you that morning? I mean, I know Robert's rule says, or our bylaws or something says 24 hours, but having it by Friday,
It seems too soon.
that's really cutting it.
So, I mean, I'm good with it coming
I mean, I can have the tracker, it's just all the percentages trying to get to the 5.5. Right?
I mean, could we do it digitally only?
Well, if we're doing the tracker, we're going to be tracking the percentages too.
Yeah.
So-
we get-
It does track the percentages.
So I think that's something that we can look at seriously as,
We could have
you
them
know,
printed here.
let's take a look at it tomorrow as a team.
I have a lot of changes.
Could you do
changes.
digital only so that you have?
Yeah, digital.
So that we don't have to print, ship, deliver.
I'm all about digital,
Yeah.
but I'm all about digital.
Like on a Tuesday? I mean, that's your day off, though.
And maybe we can have, for those attending the meeting live, maybe we could get some packets.
We can probably even
Here,
I can probably even get it
Wednesday
to you
morning.
digitally Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
And it's a nominal 5.5 or whatever percent, right? Like it's
No,
not-
yeah, no.
It's not by the number.
I'm not really concerned with
Yeah.
getting it down. I'm concerned with all of these changes that I have to put on the
Yeah.
tracker.
Enough, right?
And the grants thing that Jen brought up,
Anything but where we're at now.
I want to be careful with Rita's time too.
because we need to do the grants that Jen brought up too. Jen White, that we said we'd have,
you could indicate which jobs are grant paid for and so
Right.
forth. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, is it possible to get a test digitally?
Oh, she's already working on things. And we still have.
as long as I just close my door for the rest of the week.
And the auditors keep
And
adding.
the auditors stop bugging
They
me.
keep adding over and over again things that we've already given them. It's the real challenge.
I know, but we only have this.
I'm trying to wrap it up. I'm trying to wrap the auditors up too. No,
We know.
Okay.
let's look at it tomorrow, Susan,
Telling
and we
you
can,
the workload.
I know,
It's
but I'm
because we
just
have to-
saying that
yeah.
we only have this week, one meeting.
you're right, we only have this week.
If we only have one meeting, that leaves us to the 23rd, and we're not going to be ready to really vote on the budget.
Well, Thursday, we're meeting about central office and facilities, and it, so,
We've got the RTM on Wednesday. And then we have the 12th is the big public hearing, and then budget workshop.
RTM's this week? RTM's this week, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Kathy Chase said we could try to bump
I have policy tomorrow.
The policy's fine. Yeah. But that's remote, so that's pretty cool. So remote. All right, so where are we with the budget then? Because that's our concern right now is the budget. Did you say we can't have it by the 18th?
Should we push
I'm
it?
not saying we can't, I'm just monitoring, you know,
We can't. I guess we could.
I don't want to burn her out.
I'm just trying to
She's
decide,
got on her shoulders, so I'm just being protective. I mean, I think
We'll see.
the 18th is,
it's a Wednesday, so if we don't
I
have,
don't know how everybody else, I know I go to church with a couple of people. I don't know if, you know, if that's going to affect you. I'll try to do mine in the morning, but
Susan, you gotta have the budget
I
by the
know,
23rd.
I know.
So you gotta have to do something.
Well, I'm listening to you, but we'll do the best we can.
just
to get
plan the,
digitally.
plan the budget, plan the meeting for Wednesday if you guys are in agreement.
Yeah.
Wednesday, the 18th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was on my calendar anyway.
FOIA doesn't require that
'Cause
the
it was capped.
document be issued with the agenda, correct? It just requires that we.
I don't
say
believe so.
we reference
I
it.
don't believe so, right,
As long as we put it up on the screen, I think we're meeting FOIA.
right, right.
Are you guys okay with that?
That's why I'm bringing it up, it's not required,
Whatever
but
we were gonna
you guys
do
typically
on the
get it.
19th, we'll do on the 18th. We'll move it up. And we'll review what Rita has proposed also.
So Lori.
What's planned on the 19th?
We'll come up with a clear schedule this week to support you.
So we're canceling the
Make sure
19th?
We're all set.
Okay,
So I'll work on that.
okay.
We're only Monday, right?
It's only Monday, but time flies.
Beverly's coming in tomorrow to help me with the public hearing part and what we want to put out to the public and the RTM. So,
Lucky me. All right. All right. So this week, policy tomorrow, I'm just going over this stuff, right? And then negotiations going to meet on Thursday at 5 to continue our discussion from last week. I think Lori said she reached out to you to give you a little one-on-one.
She may have.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to come in sometime this week, call up Lori, see when she's available, come in, and she'll go over with you what we talked about last, whatever day it was.
he'll have to see if he can fit it in his schedule.
And then Thursday, we're meeting at 5 before the public hearing and the budget workshop. I sent you an email.
Okay.
And
This Thursday, the 12th.
Yeah, the 12th.
Okay.
All right, we're meeting at 5.
On a good note, we submitted the roof project and it got.
I don't think we can talk about it. And then the following week, budget, 18th and 19th, 6 o'clock. Okay? And if we have to add anything in, just let me know. All right.
I think we had a Friday night budget meeting a couple of years ago, didn't we?
No, not with this board.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't ever remember.
I don't think we went.
I think we added one
I think
for
the
a
board
vote.
did it by themselves.
Yeah, no, you definitely did. Yeah, it's a famous one.
Yeah.
I didn't come then.
It'll flip it in for me.
I
Tell you
don't
another
come.
time.
I don't come up.
Tell me, okay.
Yeah,
I try to get Saturdays. We used to do it on Saturday mornings.
it's rough.
All right. Dr. A, anything else, man?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Second, ninth.
So we have the policy tomorrow night.